Toyota. We've always found the fact that the world's most experienced manufacturer when it comes to electrified vehicles has always had, well, a little bit of a poor showing when it comes to their fully electrified cars. Bit strange. Their first car, the bZ4X, didn't exactly blow us away. But I'm over here in Brussels at the moment to see some new product that Toyota are about to launch this year. And it shows that they're getting very, very serious about electrification indeed. Starting with this, the new bZ4X Touring. Welcome to this week's edition of Sneak Peeks. Welcome to the new Toyota bZ4X Touring. As always, welcome to AutoEV. Now, as always, before we get started with this very quick edition of Sneak Peeks, which I'll explain about in a second, it is of course the time where I would just remind you to make sure you're subscribed to the AutoEV channel. Then when you've done that, make sure you then press the little bell button that's down below, because that's the way you'll be notified when our next video is uploaded and it's gone live. Once you've watched the video, if you do enjoy it, make sure you give it a little thumbs up for us, and don't forget, leave me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about the cars we feature on the channel, such as the new bZ4X Touring from Toyota, and of course on AutoEV channel as a whole. So, as I say, Toyota, it's been a little bit of a hit or miss thing for them in terms of the full battery electric vehicles, which I always found odd when you think about them having the Prius, which was the first real mass production hybrid that was out there, and of course their sub-brand Lexus as well, being so high in electrification. And their first showings just always really sort of disappointed us a little bit. The bZ4X, quite a good car, but it was fairly middle ranking in a marketplace where you can't be average, you've got to stand out. Great looking, and of course you've got your legendary Toyota reliability and it had a good bit of off-road ability to it, but it let us down on efficiency and range and things like that, and the interior was a bit grey, and it was, I don't know, it wasn't quite the slam dunk that I thought Toyota would give us. But as I say, things are changing and things are really hotting up because they're introducing more and more battery electric vehicles. And one of the things that Toyota are keen to point out is they see their future as being multi-energy manufacturer. So in other words, they want to offer everything: hybrid, plug-in hybrid, fuel cell, battery electric vehicle, the whole shebang. And the bZ4X Touring is the next step in that. Now, we've obviously seen their entrance into the B segment SUV category with the urban cruiser. We're also going to see this year the CHR Plus, their entry into the C sector crossover market. And the bZ4X Touring, well, I have to say, I think this is going to be quite a standout car, and I think it's going to really make a mark in the marketplace if they get the pricing right. And I'm going to show you why. Now, we're going to start with styling as always, and it's very familiar in some respects because the bZ4X has had a little bit of a mild facelift this year, and of course the Touring now adopts that. So at the front, it's pretty much what you've seen with the bZ4X, which is to say, I think one of the plus points of the car. I really like the way the bZ4X looks, in fairness. So of course you get these real sort of like slash, sort of like, cornering lights here. And of course you get the blade type of nose that comes in with the negative space in there, forward facing camera. But look at the ride height of the car. There's a lot of talk about sort of like out and away from the urban jungle, getting out and exploring. They see this as a proper family car for proper family outdoor activities. And as I say, there's a lot of talk of off-road ability with this car. You can get it as a single motor front wheel drive or as a dual motor all-wheel drive car as well. But I'll move on to that in the technical section. But yeah, I think the style of it looks really good, and they're starting to sort of like homogenize all the designs together. So the front of this is very familiar to things such as the CHR, very, very familiar to the new Prius, which I've road tested over on House of Cars, if you have a look at that. And as I say, sort of like a lot more Toyota products still to come, adopts this new sort of like sleek arrowhead front end. But let's move around the side, because that's where the big change is. Do you see what I mean? Look at it, it's really grown. Now, as I say, this is a really quick edition. We've flown out to Brussels. We've literally got 15-20 minutes with the car. There's 5 cars being shown here today. Not all of them battery electric. There's a couple that are going to be on AutoEV, and there's one we're not getting in the UK at all, the Corolla Cross. So I really have got limited time with it, so I'm going to try and be as quick as possible. So stay focused, people. Right, so it's a larger, more upright version of the bZ4X. If you think about the bZ4X almost now like a sort of coupe variant of this, like Skoda have with the Enyaq coupe, Volkswagen have ID.4, ID.5. that's kind of what Toyota have done, okay? So the Touring is 140 millimeters longer than the standard bZ4X. It's just over 4.8 meters in length, 20 millimeters higher at 1,670 millimeters, and this will make it one of the largest cars in its class, especially when it comes to carrying capacity in the boot, which obviously we'll go on to do. Apologies for the iPad, I got the press release this morning. That's why I'm referring to my iPad. So they've given it a much more sort of rugged appearance, almost a bit like Subaru do with their Solterra. And obviously they do a version of this called the Trail Seeker, which was shown at the LA Motor Show, sorry, the New York Motor Show just recently as well. So I do find that quite interesting. But as I say, there's a huge talk of off-road ability with this car. And of course it features the X mode all-wheel drive system with sophisticated grip control. You've got these standard roof rails on the car, which I think, if my notes are correct, they will carry up to 70 kilograms of extra carrying capacity if for whatever reason you don't find this boot big enough. Right, so round the back, very different style to the bZ4X we've seen so far. So this nice light bar that comes across, none of the sort of like, you know, the weird sort of lights that drop down there, that's much more sporty in style. This is more upright, this is much more SUV, as we know SUVs to be like. Big roof spoiler there, which is obviously going to help with airflow and efficiency. Rear wiper, yes, get in. Little Toyota badge just there, little dinky Toyota badge, quite nice. Reverse camera there, but look, big rugged bumpers there, and look at this sort of like almost this sort of skid plate style sort of like rear diffuser area there. As I say, talk of outdoor ability, outdoor sort of like family activities, that's all been the press conference this morning. Right, I'm going to put it out there now. I think this is a much better looking car than the bZ4X, the standard car, which I do like anyway, but I think this thing looks great. I really do. You know, and if you're looking for a proper big family SUV, this could be the thing. But what do you think? You're the guys that are out there buying these cars. Tell me what your thoughts are. What do you think of the bZ4X Touring? Too much? Not enough? Would you prefer just to see them electrify a RAV4? By the way, the new RAV4 is here as well. Or do you think this could be the car you've been waiting for? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Right, I said this was big, and I do mean this is big. 600 litres of boot space, huge. That's bigger than a Skoda Enyaq, you know, a lot bigger. That's 100 litres more than a much bigger BMW iX. This is massive in the boot here. But if you do need more space, there's a 60-40 split rear bench seat which will fold down. I don't have the figure for the total capacity, I'm sorry. But trust me, this is big, okay? You can fold the back seats down from in here. You've got the handles just to pull and they'll flip down. You've got nice things such as bag hooks there. You can obviously hold them down. There's nice sort of like load lugging sort of like lashes around there as well. There's some cable storage underneath here, so there's plenty of storage underneath the boot. But again, look, you know, a flat load entry into the boot. So whilst it sits a little bit higher, I mean, it's, you know, sort of like just below my hips, and I'm not a tall guy, but you know, there's a reasonable lift up there, but it's a flat entry in with a nice bit of plastic there for putting things like mountain bikes in, or your wet sort of like, you know, surfing gear or stuff like that, or putting your tents in and things like that. But as I say, if you do need more and you need to put a roof box on, then obviously you can do, and it'll take up to 70 kilos. The car will also tow up to 1,500 kilograms braked trailer as well. So if you're towing or you're putting bike racks on the back and you've got a bit of weighty, say an e-bike or something, then it's got the capability for that too. Rear seat space. Massive. Absolutely massive. Look at that lounging room, you know, plenty of room there. You do feel the floor is maybe a little bit pushed up, but not much. I've had a lot worse, and it's a little bit tight to get my feet underneath that driver's seat, which is in its lowest setting. But I tell you what, actually, it's no real different to some of the other cars in its class, but it feels really spacious in here. It feels like there's a lot of room back here. I like this sort of like, you know, the seat trim. I know, big criticism I've had of Toyota of late, excuse me, their interiors seem to be quite grey. This is a little bit, but there is a colour, I can't remember its name, that it is shown here. I'll try and get some B-roll of it. A kind of browny, sort of like, oh, you know, sort of like mossy coloured interior, which I think looks really cool, which goes well with this more kind of, again, this mocha kind of coloured exterior. Plenty of storage. You've got water bottle holders in the door. You've got mat pockets in the backs of the front seats. You've got a flip-down armrest that has a cup holder, plus iPad or iPhone holder or whatever else there. Good access to the ISOFIX points. There's two USB-C charging ports there which are easy to get to, and some nice vents in the back as well. So again, if you're carrying, say, like dogs or small children or something, you need a nice bit of airflow. They're at a reasonable height. They're not way down at the floor. They're actually up quite high. But yeah, I think this is going to be plenty enough space for most people. Now, the bZ4X had a little bit of a facelift earlier this year, so it's a slightly redesigned cabin, and I have to say it's a big improvement on what went before. I didn't mind the old cabin, but there was just some areas of it I felt were a bit lacking. There was a feeling of, dare I suggest, cheapness to some of the plastics and greyness. It all seems to be really changed for this new model. Now, it's really interesting. I've been speaking with one of the Toyota Europe marketing guys and product guys this morning, interviewing them as well. And I did put it to them. I said, look, the car came out, the bZ4X came out, and it wasn't, it was good, but it wasn't as good as we felt it should be for a Toyota. And they said, yep, absolutely 100%. We've listened to customer feedback. We have listened to our customers. We've talked to them. And we've changed things, and boy have they changed things. I really like this interior now. Everything seems to be on the horizontal, so you get this horizontal dashboard across there, which is nice and easy on the eye. It's also very, very easy in terms of just reaching across to things. Now, there's a new infotainment screen. It's not on because obviously this car is inside. Can I put it on? Is somebody going to get annoyed with me if I do this? Oh, no, hang on, here we go. So, screen size, 14-inch multimedia screen. So this is a new sort of like multimedia thing that they've had, and also as well incorporates a new navigation system as well. See this? Look, it's a lot nicer, isn't it? It's a lot better looking than the one that was before, and a bit like sort of like the Lexus, which I've just recently had. You've got these beautiful little sort of like tactile. They just have this lovely damping action to these sort of like controls here, and obviously they glow red and then glow blue. So nice, I'll start again, a nice amount of physical controls, for you to reach across and just turn, for things like heating and ventilation, volume control, so you don't have to keep going into the actual screen itself to use things. The navigation system itself will now incorporate things such as charging and what's needed in terms of charging. So for instance, you're driving from here in Brussels to, I don't know, to say Frankfurt or something like that, or up to Amsterdam, and depending, obviously the car will constantly monitor its state of charge, and it will recommend charging stops and how long you got to charge for and how much you need to take in, depending obviously on the route that's programmed into it. Not a unique thing, other manufacturers do it, but it's nice to see Toyota really stepping the game up, and that is a much clearer screen and a much easier one to use. I've also just realised that wasn't even my driving position, so the room space in the back is even better. Twin charging pads here for mobiles. You've still got this high sort of console here. There's some under console storage in there. You've got your transmission rotary dial there, but everything works on physical buttons. So your cameras, your eco mode, your different modes there for your all-wheel drive system. Mirror controls and electric window switches there in here. Now, if you watched our recent I don't know if it's out before this or not, but we were road testing a triple test, and that was one complaint we had about the Volvo EX30. It's gone everything onto the screen, whereas Toyota have remained with physical buttons, which is really good to see. Gone is that slightly weird shape into that driver binnacle. It's still there and it's still pushed right up to the screen, so you don't need a head-up display. You do still look over the wheel into that, but I have to say it's a really nice driving position, and that's very clear and easy to read. But I love the simplicity of this design, and the materials is a big step up. No piano black in here on this particular car. Now, final UK specs have yet to be decided, so I don't know what will come to the UK, but even just this slightly kind of gunmetal grey plastic, I don't mind that. I'd rather that than that horrible shiny piano black. But the dashboard, you've got soft touch materials on the dash now, same as the top of the doors as well. You've got nice big sturdy door handles. I say the seats with this half leatherette, half cloth just feel better. Everything just feels better in this Touring than it did in the previous bZ4X. You still get this nice steering wheel, which has got maybe a little bit overburdened with buttons here, but it's a nice size, it's nice to hold, it's got a really nice feel to it, even if the design is a little bit incongruous there. But I have to say, in terms of, as I say, the redesign, in terms of the usability of this, in terms of the quality of materials, Well done, Toyota, because I'll tell you what, you've made a big improvement to this car. Now, when I first reviewed the bZ4X, I was quite critical of its poor efficiency and poor charging speeds, as I was with the Lexus compatriot, the RZ450e. I then later drove an updated bZ4X. I didn't film it because there was only just some software changes and the efficiency was a lot better. And I have to say the RZ300e Lexus that I drove did do the same thing. And I'm told there's a lot of changes to this car again to improve efficiency. Now, oddly, for a car that is showing sort of like, you know, sort of more rugged outdoor ability, you do have the option of either front wheel drive or four wheel drive with it. But both cars get exactly the same battery, which is a 74.7 kilowatt hour battery. That's its gross capacity, and that should deliver a range of up to 348 miles according to WLTP figures, but that will be for the front wheel drive one. Now, as I say, they have changed an awful lot about the car, and one of the things they have done is they've fitted new silicon carbide semiconductors in the motors on the axles. Now, they're better because they operate with greater efficiency and they give more power whilst they're being lighter and more compact. Charging speeds, still not great, still not class leading, 150 kilowatts, but of course you'll still get your usual 10 to 80% in 30 minutes, which is par for the course with this style of car. But you also get onboard 11 kilowatt charging as standard, and there is talk of there also being a 22 kilowatt onboard charger available on the car as well. But no such things as 800 volt architecture, obviously, or vehicle to load or things like that. So there's still some way to go yet, Toyota. Still some room for improvement. Now, like the standard bZ4X, there's going to be two driveline options with the Touring, of course. A front-wheel drive car, which is going to put out 221 horsepower, or a dual-motor car, which is 376 horsepower. Toyota's most powerful electric car. Now, obviously, we're going to have to wait until we actually finally drive the car, until we give you our final driving impressions. And of course, it's not going to just be like a bZ4X, because obviously there's more bodywork on it. The car will be slightly different in terms of its dynamics because centre of gravity's changed. But the interesting thing that I think about it, I keep referring back to it, is the fact that there's a big talk of sort of like off-road ability, which in fairness I really did praise the standard bZ4X for, because not a lot of cars in this sort of like D segment electric SUV market space talk about. But of course Toyota and of course the technical partner Subaru are really at pains to point out the off-road ability of the cars are actually very good. And as I say, all through today, this press conference with this car has been talk of people that go on sort of, you know, sort of like out into the wilderness, you know, families camping, you know, off-road mountain biking, that type of thing. So I do think it's going to offer something that's not really available in this class for the money. Which brings me neatly on to the price. Car's going to go on sale in the UK, probably late 2025, delivery starting in spring 2026, which isn't as far away as we think. We're almost halfway through 2025 after all, folks. But look, let's take an educated guess at this if the Toyota guys aren't listening. You know, current bZ4X starts at around about sort of like mid-40s in its front-wheel drive lowest trim grade. There's obviously going to be some sort of premium for this car, so somewhere between maybe 40, 60, 50,000 pounds is probably where the Touring's going to start. Obviously, I'd suggest you're going to be well into late 50s by the time you've got a top spec all-wheel drive variant. But remember, it's not just about the actual cost of the car, it's also your ownership package as well, and that's one place I think Toyota and Lexus, to be fair, do win out, because not just do you get, on the face of it, a very short 3-year warranty with the car, but remember, if you take it down to your local Toyota dealership and service it every year as per manufacturer's requirements, they will warranty the car up to 10 years or 100,000 miles, which I think is phenomenal. The other thing about it is, as well, is Toyota are going to be one of the only manufacturers that give a guaranteed state of charge health on your battery as well. And that's something that we need to be aware of when we're talking about EVs going forward, especially on the used market. Competition, well, plenty is what I would suggest, because this D segment all electric medium sized SUV crossover is, well, they're abound. No self-respecting manufacturer will be seen without one these days, let's be honest. So to name but a few, which I've obviously had to write down because there's so many of them I will forget them, and no doubt I'll still forget a few. Skoda Enyaq, Volkswagen ID.4, Ford Explorer, Nissan Ariya, Peugeot E5008, Vauxhall Grandland, the new Jeep Compass, which has just been shown as well, KGM Taurus, Xpeng G6, Tesla Model Y, ad infinitum, and of course it will start facing competition from, dare I suggest, within its own sibling group, because Subaru are doing their version as well, the Trail Seeker as well, so that's going to give it some healthy competition. But as I say, Toyota, I think, are at pains to point out the off-road ability of the car, and apologies if I do keep repeating myself on that, because I do think the Touring, and it was subsequently the Subaru version as well, does seem to offer a little bit of something that not a lot of the competition, dare I suggest probably except for Jeep with the Compass, do talk about, and that's its off-road ability. So if you are one of those adventure types and you do wander out at weekends with your family into the wilds to go camping, or you stick your bikes on the back and throw them down a muddy hillside in Wales, or you go off windsurfing, or surfing down in Cornwall, this could be well worth a look. Late to the party, yes, but Toyota have arrived and they're making a big enough noise that they want everyone to know that they're here, and they are here to stay. As I said at the beginning, I found it interesting that Toyota weren't pushing electric cars more right at the very start, years ago, of the electric car movement, given their experience in hybrids and electrification of cars. But what they've been doing is they've been laying their stall out. They've been making sure that they're going to offer a full breadth of drivetrain options for different markets and different styles of customers: hybrids, plug-in hybrids, fuel cell vehicles, and of course battery electric vehicles. Toyota's range in Europe is now fully electrified, and of course with the battery vehicles, the bZ4X Touring is another one to add to that range. Now yes, there was some initial disappointments with the bZ4X, poor efficiency, range wasn't particularly good, and dare I suggest, I thought there was maybe some quality issues with it as well. But what's interesting is what's changed with this car, and there are some big changes with this car, not just to the battery specs, not just to the motors to make it more efficient, but also to the quality of the car, not just the quality of the materials in the build, but the quality of the design. And if this is where they're going, then I think Toyota could really be one to watch. Thank you for watching this week's edition of Sneak Peeks. As always, thank you very much, and make sure you're subscribed to the AutoEV channel. Once you've done that, press the little bell button that's down below, because that's the way you'll be notified when the next video is uploaded and it's gone live. If you have enjoyed this week's video, and I'm sorry it has been so rushed, but we have been up against the clock today, please give it a thumbs up, and of course, as always, don't forget, leave me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about Toyota's bZ4X, and of course bZ4X Touring, and of course on the AutoEV channel as a whole. Now if you're into your social media, remember we're all across on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, all the social media, so if you're a fan of it, give us a follow there, because that certainly helps the channel. And maybe you're not interested in new Toyota bZ4X Touring, but you might be interested in a second-hand Toyota bZ4X, but you want to know what we thought about it right at the start of its launch, because remember, it's the AutoEV road test review that car buyers trust when it comes to choosing the next car, so we do speak a bit of truth. How do you find out? Well, go on to the keep on the AutoEV homepage on the YouTube channel. Just at the top there's a little magnifying glass. If you type the name of the car you're interested in there, of course if it's been a new car introduced into the UK's electric car market in the last 6 years, then it's been subjected to that AutoEV road test, the actual road test that car buyers trust when it comes to choosing their next electric vehicle. You can tell it's getting near to the end of the day, because I'm starting to really lose my voice and lose momentum. And I've got a plane to catch. Right, thanks once again for watching. Thank you for your continued support. I'll hopefully see you in a more calmer review soon.